Hi everyone, my name is Henrik Lantz and I'm representing the Swedish ELIXIR node, BILS, Bioinformatics Infrastructure for Life Sciences. And I'm here to talk about the genome assembly and annotation service that we have been running for around 1.5 years now. The idea is that by showing you an example of how we have been doing this in Sweden, you will get an idea of what it takes to set up a similar service in your own country. So, some basic facts first. We accept any Swedish assembly or annotation project, sometimes in planning stage and sometimes they already have their data, it depends. We are 5 people working with in this team, 2 on annotation and 2 on assembly, and me working as the glue there in between those 2 groups as a team leader. We have dedicated computer resources. We are collaborating with, but we are not part of the sequencing facilities, and this is really important as it allows us to stay updated with what is happening at the sequencing facilities, but we are not biased by any sequencing technology, for example. We can give unbiased recommendations to the customers. Our projects in general take weeks or possibly months, and around 3 projects per expert is realistic usually. We do a lot of development. This is a young area of science still, and a lot of tools are simply not done yet, so we need to develop many tools ourselves. So I want to give you an example of what an assembly and annotation workflow would look like, a little bit what our experiences are, and what you might need to think about. So if you can, get involved early already in the planning stage. You need to talk to the customer kind of data they need to order and so on. But there are also some other obvious things that we have learned. For example, they might be very aware that they need to order DNA data, but they might not be aware that they need to order RNA data also for the annotation later. And it's a good idea to do it from the same individual before you start. You can also collect metadata here, and we help the customers to submit the sequences to ENA. And we try to collect the metadata for the submission already in this stage. Sequencing is out of our hands, but once we have the read data, we do quality control. We want to check if the data is good enough. And if it is not good enough, you need to stop. Then you need to go back to the sequencing provider and ask for more data or new data. That's why I have an arrow pointing in both directions there. Assembly is the memory-intensive part of the procedure. We have a 2 terabyte machine, and that is usually enough, but not always. And the program can run for 2 to 3 weeks easily, so you need to have dedicated computer resources to do the assembly for large eukaryotes at least. Assembly validation is then hugely important. This is more labor-intensive. Is the assembly I have good enough, or do I need to go back and do this repeatedly, which is usually the case. That's why I have a 2 pointing arrow there also. Once you have assembly that you're happy with, you can go into annotations. And now we're into the more compute-intensive part of the procedure. We spend usually 10,000–20,000 compute hours for an eukaryote genome, sometimes more. We have a 160 core cluster to do this, and we have burnt it's running full capacity at all times, I would say. Then we also can help the customers making the data available to ENA programmatically. So this is a big help for the customers. This is something of a hassle, so they appreciate this help. Future opportunities. I would like to take a chance here to get in touch with as many people as possible so we can exchange experiences and also expertise. If we get stuck, we can talk to each other. So I would like to set up some kind of communication here between groups in Europe that work with assembly or annotation. I could also see us sharing tools. There's no idea for us to reinvent the wheel. If someone has done a good tool, why not use it? So this is also something I see as very important. And I can also see how we could make web-based tools available to the customers, or perhaps set up some kind of permanent genome browser solution for customers in Europe. That would be enormously useful and is somewhat lacking at the moment. Thank you for listening. And if you have any comments, please get in touch with me. You have my address here. Thank you.